Joining me today is Keren Gonen out of Vernon, New Jersey. Out of an audience of more than 50,000 agents nationwide, Keren has been selected to represent Broker Agent Advisor as this month's Broker Agent of the Month for the entire state of New Jersey. And Keren, it's been a privilege to get to know you. I'm proud to be here and share this moment to shine a light on you and celebrate you for your contribution to the industry. I want to say congratulations on the recognition and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's a privilege to be here in front of this huge audience. Thank you for choosing me.
Yeah, of course, you're the perfect fit. And it's my desire for people that watch this video, I'd like for them just to get a sense for who you are and maybe a little bit about why you were selected. And I thought we would just explore a few questions together.
Sure, I'd love to.
There's a lot of things you could be doing professionally. How and why did you become a realtor?
It's actually a funny story. My boyfriend was flipping houses in Vernon, and the agents that he was trying to get in touch with weren't getting back to him. So he put me on the job. And after a week or two of trying to get in touch with agents, I got really pissed off because my follow-up, I've always been in business. So my follow-up is email, phone call, text message on a repeated basis, and I wasn't getting any responses. So I was at the dinner table nagging how no one's getting back to me, and don't these people need to sell to make money? It doesn't make sense. And I'm going on and on because at this point I'm very frustrated. And he looks at me and he goes, "Why don't you just become an agent?" And sure enough, that night I was signed up for school and started the next week. And here we are 6 years later.
No kidding. Just like that, you're being recognized, probably in some part because of your detail orientation and your follow-up and your follow-through. It's a tough business, as you know. Most people, I think, from the outside looking in, think that all real estate agents make a ton of money and this job's easy. And the reality is the statistics don't play out that way. It's a very hard business. You didn't necessarily have this appeal to it. You sort of were brought to it through circumstance. 6 years later, what do you find most rewarding about it? What is it about this business that keeps you here?
It's the relationships that I get to build. I believe myself to be a healer of some sort, and I heal people one house at a time. So for me, it's helping people out when they're trying to change their circumstances. I believe in karma. I believe in doing good for others. And so being able to help people when they need to change something, whether it's a bigger house or a smaller house, moving into New Jersey or away from something else, I'm happy to be the person that gets to hold their hand, whether they're selling or buying, and helps them get to the next stage in their lives.
That is fantastic. I got a testimonial of yours. I went digging and found, and you've got a bunch of them online, but I felt like this was an appropriate moment just to share how one of your clients would describe that process from their perspective. It's short and sweet, but I felt like it was really, it was relevant. It says, "I've used Keren for 2 purchases and 1 sale and couldn't be happier. She's on the ball when it comes to communication, orchestrating the home buying, selling process. She's extremely professional and friendly. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend her services to anyone who asks." Right? This is kind of what you just described. That's an individual that you've helped multiple times that would describe you as someone that really is invested in the process on their behalf. And I believe that to be a really important recipe to success in this business. And congrats on the kind words.
Thank you. And you know what's funny? That gentleman, I know exactly who you're talking about. I just met him at my favorite coffee shop in town for one of his closing gifts. I gave him a little gift card for that specific shop. It's called the Daily Bean in Vernon. And I just met him last week and he said, "Look, Keren, I'm using your gift card. I love this place."
That's awesome. You've mentioned Vernon a few times. I've not spent a lot of time up in New Jersey. Talk to me about what it's like to live, work, and play in Vernon, New Jersey.
Oh, Vernon is the best. Vernon, as soon as I drove over the mountain in Vernon, I was living in Ringwood at the time in Passaic County. As soon as I drove over, because as I mentioned, my boyfriend was flipping here, this calm just came over me.
Oh.
It was the forest, the hills. It was just this peace that came over me. And I said, I need to explore this area. I'm very in tune to energy and nature. And to have that immediate response is just something I've never experienced.
Huh.
So Vernon is 70 square miles. We have tons of lakes, tons of parks, lots of woods, lots of wildlife. It's just where you want your kids to grow up, which is why I moved here with my 2 boys, and we're on 21 acres. And when they say, Mom, can I go on my phone? I say, absolutely not. Give me your phone, grab the walkie-talkie, get on your ATVs, and see you in a couple of hours when it's time for lunch or dinner. And that's why Vernon is the best. People here are so down to earth. They're real, that they're the way that we used to be in like the 1950s. I don't own a key to my house. Cars are unlocked. People know each other. The day I moved in, my dogs ran away. I literally just moved in. The neighbor across the street calls me and says, I think your dogs are loose.
Huh.
He doesn't even know me from Adam, and he decided to help me out and say, your dogs are loose. And I had to drive back from Lowe's and get my dogs back inside. The police were here because you don't have a lot of loose dogs, and that was a whole shebang to begin with. But even the police were so kind to me, and they said, welcome to Vernon, and we're so happy to have you. This is how Vernon is. Vernon is that little spot that nobody knows about except the people that live here. It's just a gift.
It sounds fantastic.
Can you
I'm
tell
happy
I
for
love
you.
it?
I wish everybody would be able to live and grow up in a world like you just described. Like I can't imagine a world where we don't have a key for our front door and keep our cars unlocked today. Like that's awesome. And well spoken. But before I let you go, I want to kind of put you on the hot seat for a minute. You've kind of, you're 6 years in. They say after 5 years, whether or not this is the right business for you. And clearly you're right where you're supposed to be. If you were to give one piece of advice to a peer in this business, what would that piece of advice be?
It's actually really simple. Treat people the way you want to be treated. I treat my sellers, my buyers, my investors, everyone else the same way I would want to be treated. So if I'm freaking out at 6:30 in the morning because I'm not sure I want to buy the house, or I'm not sure I want to sell my house, I want my agent to respond to me. Same thing if it's 10, 11 o'clock at night. If I'm afraid and I'm concerned and I need someone to hold my hand and to tell me that this is the right decision, this is a good house, I should be moving on in my life, I want my agent there. And that's really the only advice I can give. Just treat people the way you want to be treated.
Well, this is a treat for me, Keren. You're deserving of this recognition. This industry's better because you're in it. And I just want to say congratulations again. And I wish you nothing but joy and abundance and success on the rest of your journey.
Thank you so much, Brian. I wish the same for you.
Thank you.